Late edition here on a Thursday. The Miller's Edge Extra, brought to you in part by You Could Be the One. We're hanging out here on a Thursday night. Hope all is well. And been a little bit of time since we've been on the app, been on the YouTube machine, talking football. One, there's been a pause in play because the regular season has ended. Alabama has won the SEC championship, now waiting to get ready to come back and start training for the Rose Bowl as they take on the Michigan Wolverines and Jim Harbaugh and Coach Khaki Pants, Washington and Texas. That is your Final Four for the college football playoffs. So we're going to get in a little bit of that on this afternoon. Plus, last night, I don't know if you're watching the SEC Network or ESPN. The schedule reveal is out for next year. Remember, no more. There's no more of the East. There's no more of the West. It's now like the top two teams will play for the SEC championship. That's going to be it. And you add two more teams. How about this? If you want to be real about it, there's two teams. They've talked about the SEC not having two teams. They talked about the SEC maybe not having any teams, right, being left out. If Alabama beat Georgia, which they did, Florida State went undefeated, took care of Louisville, which they did. Quarterback Jordan Travis is out, hurt. No Florida State. Bama is in. But when you look at it, if we're real about it, it is two SEC teams in the Final Four. Look at that. Texas and Oklahoma coming into the SEC. Texas is right there. Steve Sarkisian, former Alabama coach, has his boys ready. The team that Alabama lost to in week number 2. By the way, a loss that people thought would end up hurting Alabama and keep them out of the playoffs, but not so fast. So we can talk some about that. Good matchup for Bama against Michigan. Schedule reveal. Transfer portal is the hottest topic in America right now. I don't know if you've been listening to our regular program show on Tide 100.9. If you're in the Alabama area, Tuscaloosa perhaps, or if you downloaded that free app. By the way, download that free app, Tide 100.9. If you download that app, you can carry us wherever you go. You also can hit radio on demand. If you're working, you can't listen live, you can go back and listen to the show. Always fun and entertaining, always a lot of good stuff to catch up with on the radio program. So we're going to start doing more of the lives. We got some other things working for us as well. To broaden the scope, to broaden the range, talk more stuff, more football, still heavy Bama, but a lot of football and a lot of sports in general. So that's something that's happening on the way. Corey Miller, the pastor of Payne Christian Miller in Tuscaloosa. I am in Columbia, South Carolina. As you can see, Christian has put up the schedule that they released just last night. Western Kentucky University. They get a rematch. Second week of the year against USF, South Florida, the Bulls. How about Wisconsin? That's the Big Ten team that's going to play a bye game. And this one, I just looked at, or it was earlier today, and it might have been Cole Kublik that tweeted this. You want a hotel room in Tuscaloosa for Georgia, Alabama? The rooms were starting at a whopping $4,449 per night. You want to get a room to go to that Georgia, Alabama game? You better have some good cheese. That's on September the 28th, October the 5th, Vandy. That's on the road. That's a little shocker there. Then we're going to have a big week on this one, Lord willing. Praying so for this one, as the Gamecocks of South Carolina. They ain't been to Alabama in a long time. So you'll get a little bit of South Kakalaki in Tuscaloosa October the 12th as the Gamecocks will travel down to Alabama. Then, of course, they didn't get rid of the matchup, the rivalry, as Alabama headed to Tennessee 2 years ago. Remember that painful loss as Alabama missed a field goal and Tennessee goes down and kicks a winning field goal. The day after my birthday, October 26th, and some more Tigers. Missouri Tigers comes to Alabama, another bye. Then you got Tigers. You hit the road down to Baton Rouge, LSU. Then the Mercer Bears out of Atlanta. And then November the 23rd, what is that one? At Oklahoma, yes. And then you finish up the season at home at the Iron Bowl with Auburn. But Christian, let's start right here at the reveal. You look at the schedule. I mean, I'm not afraid of it. I mean, basically, you know, you get an East team in South Carolina, East team in Georgia, East team in Vanderbilt. So you play Georgia, the best team in the East. You just beat them. Then you got South Carolina, Vanderbilt. You like Oh, you got 4 teams, actually, Tennessee, 5 teams. So really, look at this. Alabama basically now just playing the East schedule. And that's what they're doing. Vanderbilt, Georgia, Tennessee, Missouri, right? They just play Kentucky, so they don't get them.
No Florida.
Tennessee. So
No
Alabama
Florida, though.
basically is playing the East side of the conference plus 2 on the West, which will be LSU and Auburn. That's their SEC schedule. And then, of course, throw in Wisconsin if you want to see that as a hard game, but I don't. That's at Wisconsin to be a fun trip, but Alabama should not lose that game. But other than that, this is a very manageable schedule that looks very favorable, I should say, for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I mean, the only team you missed in the East that I would say was prevalent would be Florida. I wish we could have played them. I thought that would have been a good matchup. But, looking at it is, we get USF again. They'll come to Tuscaloosa. That's going to be kind of not a revenge game, but we can kind of play them how we should have played them this year. So that's cool. But going to Wisconsin, I think is cool. But, I noticed 2 bye weeks. I mean, am I understanding that right? I mean, is that new, or you're on mute?
So you got one on the 21st and the one on November the 2nd. I mean, they're really not but 3 weeks apart. I mean, I don't know if you like that or not. Does it help the team? Having those 2 bye weeks, it definitely extends the season. But you always have the bye before LSU. That's normally the standard. And then now you get one after week number 3 after your first 3 games after the road trip to Wisconsin. So I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with that. I just think it's interesting. I mean, is there an extra week? What am I missing? I guess
They're going to be an extra week. They've had that before with the 2 byes, and a lot of people did not like them. But you think about what Alabama did this year. I mean, week 2, you got Texas, kind of a game that you really don't want to play a team like that with that type of talent that's got old talent. This is a veteran-oriented football team. You trying to still figure out your quarterback. Remember Nick Saban talked all early on about the quarterback being in the oven, all that good stuff. And now you got to play Texas, a team that's stronger on you in the trenches. The defensive line of Texas dominated our offensive line, but still we had a chance in the 4th quarter. But you play that game, and then you got to go on a long stretch of games and hard games. So, it is. Your body get beat up as athletes, as players. Your body get tired. You need rest. Guys are injured. You got ankles. You got back. You got soft tissue things. You got things happening. So I don't mind the extension of the season and giving guys an extra week for rest. I think it's going to bode well for the Tide.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I mean, you always talk about labeling things as like a preseason, right? Well, there you go. You've got 3 games in a bye week. 2 I guess 3 of them are non-conference games, and then Western Kentucky, USF, those are smaller opponents. Kind of like what you were alluding to. You kind of gave that scenario for quote unquote preseason in college football. There you go. Wisconsin, they're a Power 5 team, decent football team. You got to go on the road to Wisconsin, but then you get your bye week. So yeah, no, I think you'll bode well for the Tide. Looking at the schedule, I like it. I think it adds more versatility. I love the fact that we keep Auburn, we keep Tennessee and LSU. To me, those 3 games are pretty much a mandatory. At least Auburn and Tennessee. LSU, I still think is a mandatory, but Auburn and Tennessee, non-negotiable. LSU, if we had to miss out on that one, I'd get over it eventually. But, seeing that you got Georgia right there coming to Tuscaloosa, especially after the way things went in the SEC championship game, you got to love that one. That's going to be exciting. Everybody's going to have that one circled. I love that we're playing South Carolina. That's going to be a fun week for us. I hate that I never got to play South Carolina. That's one of the reasons I do like this new setup that allows, there's no more East and West. Now, everybody's playing each other. It looks like they're pretty much playing half of East scheduled and the rest is like the West. So
we're only playing 2 West games.
Well, no, you got Auburn. You got
Auburn and LSU.
Yeah. Oh, true. So they're playing. Okay, all right, fair enough. Well, I was considering Oklahoma. I was considering Oklahoma as if it was like a West, but yeah. So you add a few more Eastern teams. Initially, when I saw the schedule, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little more. I held it to a higher standard. I think now that I have a second chance to look at it and really look at these games, I mean. Let me ask you this. Would you say that the schedule that Alabama played this season, now I know we can't predict how these teams are necessarily going to be next season. Things can shift and change. But given how teams are playing right now and just kind of predicting how they might play in the future, would you say this season schedule is more difficult than the one that was just released for 2024 or vice versa?
I like the schedule this year. One of the things that I talked about, guys, was the fact that Alabama 2 years ago, the schedule was difficult because they had all of those tough games on the road, right? All of those rivalry games at Tennessee, at LSU at night. I mean, they had those difficulties toward the end of the year that cost them the college football playoffs. I said beginning this year, I like the schedule. Why? Because they had the bigger games at home, right? You had Texas at home. You had LSU at home. You had Tennessee at home. So you had those games where that you were, at your stadium. You were at Bryant-Denny Stadium. You had 105 crazy people screaming. And kudos to you, the fans. Kudos to the Alabama fans, where I said for years, to have such a glorious, big place. I mean, just massive. But it was while you was playing, one of the quietest stadiums that I ever been in. It was unbelievable. Like all of these people, huge stadium, massive. But the people, the crowd noise, it was terrible. You go back to the national championship games at Clemson. Clemson fans flooded the stadium. Alabama fans really didn't show up because they were spoiled, let's be honest. They were used to just winning and showing up, rolling the scripted A out there. But then Nick Saban challenged them, how important the fans are. When we saw Tennessee, when we saw LSU, and we saw them set records with penalties, we saw all of this stuff, right? All of this stuff that cost them a college football playoff, that cost the tied games. Why? Fans played a huge part of that. So Nick Saban reversed it. He reversed things and challenged the fans to be loud, make noise. Then what happened? We saw Alabama. We saw teams that played at Bryant-Denny Stadium against Alabama struggle. We saw the offsides. We saw different things happening, right? We saw different things going in towards the Alabama favor based on crowd noise. This year, guys, job well done. Why am I saying that? Because this year's schedule helped. LSU game, Tennessee game, coming from behind. The second half was ginormous, right? They still had to go to A&M. They still had to go to Auburn, but they got that done. But those bigger games, they got them at home. And to me, that was the difference. So when I look at this new release, when I look at the 2024 schedule this year, right, I like it. I mean, you play Georgia. That's no stranger. Georgia is, I'm sitting here, we were talking, looking. Every time I hit X, and not the X that you're talking about, but you think I'm talking about. Every time you look at X, Georgia got a player in the portal. Every time guys are jumping ship, I'm telling you, man, give us a three, whatever that movie was called. They jumping ship. But they going over the side. And that's what happens when things finally turn, no championship, guys gone, them players are sitting and mad. Now you start to lose guys. Now Georgia's starting to see what Alabama has dealt with for over a decade. So I'm not afraid of that game. And another reason I'm not afraid is in Alabama. Georgia, maybe a little different. It's at home. So you get Georgia September the 28th in Bryant-Denny Stadium. They're going to have to revamp. They're going to do some different things. Alabama got a team that's loaded, that's coming back. Jalen Miro today, after 2 days ago, his birthday, end of the day, he said, hey, I'm returning for my senior year. He's back. You got players on the outside back. You got dudes coming in. They're recruiting right now. You like this schedule. I'm not afraid of Wisconsin. I mean, Alabama should go. I mean, at Tennessee would be tough, but that's going to be a different team, right? Missouri at home, bye. At LSU is always tough. They probably go no more CBS, so it'll be a night game, I'm sure. So Alabama got a chance to do some great things. And 12 teams, Christian. 1, 2, it's the playoffs next year. So you don't have to go undefeated. You don't have to be unblemished. You can go 10-2 and be a 5th seed. You can go 10-2 and be a 4th. You're right there and probably get a better matchup. I mean, so when I look at the schedule, who knows? I ain't scared. I mean, because this team should be right back in the thing again. That's why I think they'll win the national championship this year. I said on a radio show, I think they beat Michigan. I think it's going to be a rematch of week number 2. And then all of that noise about Texas. Everything is bigger in Texas. But we're going to do whatever they do, horns down, because that's who I want to see. I want to see Dick get a read against Steve Sarkisian and take them and hang them by the horns in that stadium and say, we are the real champs.
I think everybody would love a rematch between Alabama and Texas.
That's going to happen in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
And Jalen Miro, what did I say 2 months ago? Jalen Miro is going to come back. I said Alabama will win the SEC. I said Alabama would make the playoffs. And my last prophecy to come true, Alabama will win the national championship, and Jalen Miro will get a sweet home victory in his backyard in Houston, Texas. I said that over 2 months ago. Go on Radio Demand, download Tide 100.9, and you can hear it live. I'm not just telling you this as a joke. That's the truth.
No, you did say that. I hope you end up coming true with that prophecy. And we'll see. You've been right on a lot of stuff that you've said. We're just wrapping up the schedule release. Yeah, now I like the schedule. I think you made some valid points. I think that's the biggest, most glaring issue with this schedule is that these games, the tough games, are on the road. At least some of them appear to be. Right. But when you talk about Tennessee, we don't know how they're going to be. It might not necessarily be as tough as a game as it was, but nonetheless, it's a rival. You go to Tennessee, you go to LSU. We know going to LSU and playing in Death Valley is always tough. Going to Oklahoma. And then, Georgia, I know they're coming to Tuscaloosa, but obviously that's going to be a tough one. But you said it best. I mean, there's a 12-team playoff now. I'm not saying you can kind of relax a little bit, but you don't have to necessarily be as high-strung as you've been in the past, like this year, right? You drop 1 to Texas early on. You consistently get better and better as a team. You rack up and stack some very impressive wins, and then you're still holding your breath, crossing your fingers, hoping that you make the playoffs, right? That's not going to be an issue anymore moving forward. So that being said,
when was the last time Nick Saban finished out of the top 12?
Out of the top 12, it's been a long time.
First year, maybe?
Yeah, 07 when he first got here. Probably that, if I had to guess, maybe. The chat always knows. Chat, if you can't help us out, when was the last time Coach Saban finished outside of the top 12 in the final polls? If anybody's got that, I'm sure you guys do. Let us know in the comments section. But that being said, yeah, so there you go, 2024 schedule. What are your thoughts on that, too? Do you guys like it? You like the new just open format better? I guess we haven't done it yet, but what do you like based off what you see? Or do you think we should have kept the East and West? Let us know in the comments section. And we'll see. There you go. Bruce says 2007. Steve also says 07. There you go. The chat, man. You guys are reliable. I promise. You guys, y'all are like, what is it? Like you can phone a friend. Chat has everything, man. 2007. So you're right. You're on mute still, I think. Thank you, chat. So yeah, it's been.
Why can't I see the chats?
Well, I mean, I got
them.
Oh, there you go. I was about to say, I'm behind the glass.
I'm learning. I got this new MacBook Pro thing, and I broke it, and then for some reason it wasn't working, and then I figured that I got it fixed, and so I'm still learning how all this works. I normally use the other computer. That's a lot easier. They say computers for dummies. That's what I use.
No, it's all good. Well, all right. You said, all right, here we go. So let's segue into this because you said that your prophecy is Alabama defeats Michigan and goes on to play in Houston. But obviously, like you said, they got to defeat Michigan first. To do that, let's talk about it, right? And we can just dive in a little bit because we got plenty of time. We'll do another show next week. We'll continue to talk.
Yeah, we're going to do a lot more.
Yeah, we're going to do a lot more, but we'll lay the groundwork, right?
Because you get ready to get some good stuff. We got a lot of good stuff in the bag. Just had some hiccups in life, and life has been tough here last 4 months. But anyway, praise the Lord anyhow. When you look at this matchup, Michigan and Alabama, right? I go back to looking at the reveal. When they hyped everything up, you know how they do on a full letter network. It's all, it makes you crazy sitting there waiting. The suspense is amazing. And then they put the cameras in there on the Michigan Wolverines and they're down in Hall. And then who's number 4? And then flash. The A shows up and it's Alabama. And all you heard was, ooh, Oh, ah. And you know why all that was going on? Not because they were shocked that it was Alabama, because it was, I'm scared. Oh no, what in the freak happened? We just been revealed as the #1 team in the country. And we thought we were going to get #4, the team that was undefeated. You see that video right there. Look at it. Oh, it's happy days. Oh, happy days. Look at it. Oh, happy day. They singing. Oh, happy days, eating their steak and rice and biscuits and rolls and butter. Here you go. Look, Michigan. Here we go. Oh, look, hands behind the head. Oh, I gotta go use the bathroom. Look at this they had on. I got to pee. I mean, it's like something's what? Oh no. Oh no. We supposed to get Florida State, the Seminoles that don't have a quarterback in Travis Jordan, the team that just barely beat Florida, a so-so SEC team in the swamp at Ben Hill Griffey Stadium, a team that played Louisville that just got beat by a mid-level or below SEC team in Kentucky. That's who we want. That we know if that's who we got, we're going to just walk into Houston. It's Alabama. And here's what they know. They pride themselves on physicality, playing great defense, and running the football. A quarterback that's more of a leader and a manager of the game. Don't make mistakes in J.J. McCarthy. They got Quorum at the running back. Great story. Came from a tough environment. Mom had to drive a couple of hours, I think somewhere in Virginia to Maryland to take him to high school every single day. You're probably going to hear that on the network. Coach Khaki Pants, weird. Only coached half the games this year. Been suspended the other half. The team that's known as the Cheaters. The team that's known as the Bill Belichick New England Patriots of college football. Right? They get Alabama. And the reason why I like this matchup, because this is what Alabama does. Right? You play on a team that likes to play in the box with tight ends. You play a team that like to run between the tackles. They run a lot of counters. They don't have explosive so much on the outside. They got a quarterback that manages, but yet still can run. But that's not their thing. Alabama matches up better than anybody against that team. And you're talking about a team that's soaring. You're talking about a team that's the trajectory is upwards, and they're playing their best football. So yes, that's why you heard the comments. That's why you heard the oohs, the ahs, the oh no, probably some bombs drop and going to the bathroom at the same time. There's nervousness because he's played Georgia. He's played the SEC, and they know how the SEC is built. And they know that's a problem. Now you got to play a quarterback. And you talked about this today, Christian, I believe, before I got on. A quarterback who they've never really seen like that, Jalen Milroe, that can run a 4.3. They know they got the best talent. They got dudes on the outside. They got tight ends. They got backs. The old line is playing his best football. Shout out to Eric Wolford. Tommy Reese has dropped his old playbook and went and put it in the garbage can and said, I'm operating out of this playbook that fits Jalen Milroe's skill set. Let's go. This team is a dangerous team. And by the way, this team just beat the #1 team. The team that everybody has from the odds from Vegas to everywhere else that was going to win the national championship. That team, Alabama, just went and took care of them. So why wouldn't you be scared? That's a question for you.
Oh, you asking me?
Whomever, chat, whoever got an ear, let them hear what the POP is saying to the church.
I mean, that's a fair point. Look, here's the thing. I agree with you 100%. I think we match up well with them. I've been telling people I would be more, and I hate even saying the word concerned, right? But I would be, I don't know, for lack of a better word, more concerned facing a team like Washington with a guy like Penix, right? Than I would be honestly with Michigan. Even though Michigan, again, it's a great team. You look at the numbers. I know you hate numbers, but you talk about defense. They've got a great defense. Defensively, I got numbers right here. They're top in the country in almost every category, right? Michigan's defense, at least I had it here earlier, Let's see. I can't even find it right now. I had it pulled up earlier. Regardless, Michigan's defense comes in at like number 1, 2, or top 10 in almost every statistic. Yards per game allowed, points per game allowed. But you had a great argument to that on our show earlier. Again, we got a radio show we do every day, Monday through Friday, the Miller's Edge. Check that out on Top 100.9. They hadn't really played many capable offenses, right? So you throw that into the equation. However, they do hold their own. They got a good front, but really, they're good on the back end. They force turnovers. They don't really allow too many explosive plays. But you talk about the teams that match up well with that. I don't think there's a better team to match up with them than Alabama. And you're right. I think that video, that clip that we played, says it all. Those guys don't want to play Alabama. They know how we are, especially talk about postseason Alabama, right? Alabama's one thing, but postseason Alabama is a whole different beast, right? And I'm hoping that's what we see when it comes time to play them in the Rose Bowl. Because here's the thing. We've talked about the trajectory of this team since, I don't know, week 4 or 5, whatever it was. I mean, the offensive line has done a complete 180. These guys are playing solid. They gave up 30 or so sacks the first half of the season. The second half of the season, they've given up less than 10, right? And Proctor, a guy that we had been, I'm not saying judgmental, but we were very truthful on our assessments of his play in the offensive line. He needed work. He needed to mature. He needed to grow up. That's exactly what he's done, right? Earning honors in the last couple of weeks, right? And has been playing some really good football. The running game, something that wasn't really there early on in the season. We were scratching our heads. Why do we have these big linemen? Why do we have these backs, the stable backs? We went into the season saying, hey, that should be our bread and butter. It wasn't there. We were a shot team, right? Fast forward to the end of the year, running the ball effectively and efficiently, imposing our will up front. You go back and watch the SEC championship. Guys are getting thrown out the club. No white tees in the club. Georgia had on white tees, and they got thrown out the club. There's clips everywhere, right? The way we've been playing football, if we play that style of football out in Pasadena, I honestly, I said it on the show, and you know me, I'm very conservative when it comes to this. But I went as far as saying I could see us winning by about 10, 13 plus maybe, if we play the right way. Now, in my opinion, just laying the foundation. And I'm not saying this, I said we could. Realistically, I think it's going to be closer than that. There's a lot of factors that go in this. But just looking at this matchup, trench play, the more physical team and the team that protects the football, which I know it gets redundant. We say that every week, but especially in this game, I think that's what it's going to boil down to. But then you talk about an X factor in Jalen Milroe, something that Michigan's defense, in my opinion, hadn't really seen. His athleticism, his ability to take shots deep downfield, our ability to run the ball consistently now, playing physical up front. I really like us in this matchup. I really do. And so that's just kind of laying the groundwork. Again, I have a bunch of those numbers. I know you hate numbers, but here's some.
Michigan number 2 in total defense. I got it down to.
I think they might be 1. It might be 2, but yeah, no.
Number 2. I mean, in total defense, they're number 2. Russian defense, they are number 5. Mm-hmm. Let's do scoring defense. They are number 1. So they're only giving up 9. They give up under 10 points a game.
That's right. See, I don't know where I had all this down. I can't find it right now.
Just go to NCAAstats.com next time.
I had it pulled up. I didn't want to take it too long. But on the flip side, you talk about their offense, right? Points per game, they're 14th. Total yards per game, 68th. Passing yards, 75th. Rushing yards, 60th. With those numbers, don't sound too impressive. But you said it, though. I mean, they like to run the football. Their quarterback, kind of like what Cam Newton was saying. I don't know if you guys saw that. A lot of people were in an uproar about his take on some of the current NFL quarterbacks. He was saying they're more game managers, not game changers. No, he definitely had a point. But their quarterback McCarthy, good player, but in the last few games, he's hardly passed for over 150 yards. I mean, they really just want to establish the run. You talked about it. This Alabama defense is built to stop the run, right? As long as we play the right way, we execute. You look at that Auburn game, we had a caller. Lewis called in, he asked, what was the difference, right? You said it, schematically, Auburn was doing some things. They're doing FIB, right? Running counter back, getting a lot of lead blockers. They had a good scheme. But realistically, in my opinion, I think what outweighed that was our performance mentally. We just looked soft out there against Auburn. We weren't physical against the run. We were sitting on blocks. We didn't have that same aggressive style of run support from the back end, which I felt we had much better. We had a much better support in the back end. In that Georgia game, you watch, Caleb Downs, guys flying downhill, right? They recognize this run. They're coming down to run support, right? Up front, dominating, right? Getting knocked back, getting off of blocks, making plays. That's the type of defense we need to see in Pasadena, right? Like guys playing relentless, being aggressive, right? And it starts up here, between the eyes. You got to have the right mentality. We saw the right mentality against Georgia. Auburn, it looked like guys kind of just were, kind of figuring things out. It didn't really look too confident. I don't know what it was, but that wasn't it. Now, as long as we shelf that, don't go back to that, I think we'll be solid. Blake Corum is a really good running back. But again,
Alabama's number
nothing
30th in the country. I mean, we keep
30?
saying we're a good run-stopping team, but really we haven't been. And I know maybe
we've been inconsistent. We've been inconsistent
and overshadowed about some big games. LSU, Auburn. We did great against Georgia, though. But we're number 30. We're number 30 in the country. 124.5 yards a game. I mean, that ain't nothing to call mama about. That ain't nothing to call your boys about. Hey, dog, we some run stoppers. I mean, nah, bro, you got to prove better than that. Now, the last game, yes, they got to be better. Alabama's defense is good enough to.
Wait, hold on, real quick. The only thing I'll say to that though is you got to remember what also goes in the equation. You look at LSU. I pulled these stats for you now because you said this before. Quarterback runs, brother. You got to remember that. Like LSU, we held those guys to well under 100 yards. Well under 100 yards on the ground, except for Jaden Daniels, ran for over 100. I think it was over 100, if not just shy of it. I think it was over 100 yards, whatever, right? Around 100 yards himself. And it wasn't really quarterback design runs. He was just scrambling and just playing recess football, right? You got to put that in the equation. Kentucky game, I think we held them to under 25 yards. And then that guy breaks that run for 70-something yards. So if you take away that, and I know it sounds silly that I'm nitpicking little runs, but again, throw that in the equation. You take away some of that stuff, we should be top 20. But you're right, though. Nonetheless, the number is the number. That's where we're at. There's no excuses. However, we've done, for the most part, a solid job stopping the run. There was times where we did, with lack of execution, we just stopped we were doing it right. Then all of a sudden, it kind of just.
You got some valid points, but Jaden Daniels had 11 carries in that game, 163 yards, basically a 15-yard average, and he didn't finish the game against Alabama.
You said 160?
Yeah, on 11
carries. On the ground?
Had 8 carries, 24 yards. Josh Williams had 4 carries, 19 yards. So the other backs did nothing. That running game was basically all Jaden Daniels, 163 yards, just on 11 carries. And those are blown things. I get that. That wasn't like they got just hemmed up and ran over. You're right about that. Kentucky, they had one big rush. You're right about that. But those still, because you do stats, I just did that because that's why I told you. See, all you're doing is proving a point for me. Because what I've told you,
I'm not
on the air with you.
I didn't say you're wrong.
Stats are for losers. Bill Parcells told us that. Stats are for losers, and stats tell only a part of the story, but they never tell the whole story. So what you're doing right now is making me and things that I've said so right, because now you basically saying, but Dad, that long run. You're right. That's why I say what I say, because you just base things off stats. They will lie to you. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair, but that's why when I present the stats, I always say I offer, that piece of, hey, these are the numbers. It doesn't tell the whole story, but here's part of it. Do what you want with them, and then we can kind of fill in the blanks. But real quick, while you're looking some of that stuff up, real quick, I want to get to the super chat that we missed. 6-0 is back with the it looks like the $35.17 super chat. 6-0 said, oh, brother. Okay, that's enough. All right. He says, Alabama over Michigan, roll tide, go Vikes, baby. 6-0, appreciate the super chat, man. Ignore the dance he was doing. That was a little disturbing. We'll just cover y'all's eyes. But appreciate the super chat big time. But, yeah, I'm taking Alabama over Michigan. Like I said, and y'all know me. I'm normally the conservative one. I'm normally kind of like, well, I keep things. But I really do like this matchup for us. And, I guess we'll have to see. But I think they start back practicing Saturday. So about 2.5 days or so from
Auburn,
practicing,
by the way,
getting better.
244 yards rushing.
Oh no, Auburn's
And that
game was
wasn't just the quarterback.
terrible.
It was part of
No,
quarterbacks. But, I mean,
no,
Peyton
that
Cohen
that,
had
that was
57. Austin had 85. The two running backs had a combined 178.
yeah, no,
And that
that's
was
why I
kind
said
of plays. And that's what I talked about today, how Hugh Freeze took away from Tennessee Chattanooga.
But they didn't really
That's
run
close.
counter though. They were running like
They
wide
did
zone.
run counters. They did. I went back and looked at it. So
Not
thank you,
much,
6
though.
35 17. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Roll Tide and go Vikes. What about that 3-0 win? You don't stats tell part of the story, never the whole story. That's
Yeah,
game on nine.
that 3-0 win was really weird. Talk about defense, I guess so. We love a good defensive
Nobody
game.
wants to see a defensive game. They want PlayStation.
That's right. Appreciate that, 6-0. Glad to have you in here, man. Everybody else too, man. And while you're here, make sure you drop a like, leave a comment, offer your thoughts if
There's
you're
a lot
watching
of
the
comments.
replay. Yeah, for sure. If you're watching the replay,
Bruce Hill says he see this game being like the Kentucky game.
the Kentucky game.
Yeah,
That
Bruce
was
Hill.
I'll find it.
I don't know if I see it like that, but
I was about to say, Bruce, don't now. When I was saying I was confident, I hold on now. I'm not talking about going up 21-0 off rip. That's how we started off that Kentucky game. Now that'd be great, but I'll be honest. I think Michigan's defense is a much better defense than Kentucky. Don't know if I necessarily see them
21-0 in the second quarter.
Who is this?
Hmm.
What are we watching? Oh, football game.
NFL Thursday.
But yeah, no, I don't know about Kentucky. That's a lot of confidence you got there, Bruce. But we'll have to see, though. Again, I mean, this is just our opinions. They probably don't mean anything, right? We're just giving our thoughts. But Henry says we also played 5 of the top 20 offenses. That's true, and that's why I was saying, like, I'm not taking anything from Michigan's numbers, but you look at their numbers, right? I'm gonna pull up their record, and we'll go through like the teams they played. A lot of those teams, man, they're not very good offensive teams.
No. I mean, they played Penn. Listen, the Big Ten and where their conference is set up, right? You got the 3 in the same division. You got Ohio State, you got Michigan, and you got Penn State. And the thing with James Franklin and the flack that he gets is because he can never beat the top 2, right? He's not beaten Ohio State or Michigan, and therefore he ends up at number 3, right? That's been the thing. Now, if you're Michigan in the last few years, especially 2, has it been 3 in a row now? That he has beaten Ohio State, maybe 2.
Yeah, I think 3.
Right, and that's the thing. So to win that division, you just got to beat Penn State, which they do, and you beat Michigan. They got 2 quality wins. You want to throw in Iowa as a quality win and the Big Ten championship? You can, but Iowa couldn't score on any of us on this chat. I mean, they played defense, but man, that was like Alabama playing, I don't know, Vanderbilt, South Carolina. I mean, that's what the championship game was like. So in Ohio State wasn't that good, even though their record was 11-1. But the schedule is the Big Ten. I mean, who else? Maryland, Wisconsin, Purdue, Illinois, Michigan State. I mean, there's nobody else. These are the things people don't look at. That's what I'm saying. They ain't seen in Alabama. Ohio State, their quarterback jumps in the portal because they're going to bring somebody. I mean, this team goes 11-1. Guess what? You weren't good enough. Peace, deuces. I mean, their star quarterback in the portal, along with other guys. This is a wake-up call. If Alabama, the only concern I had, let me say this before I forget it, and I said this on the Tide today, on the Miller's Edge. The only concern I do have, the fact that they were going so good, you got all these big wins, right? You're finding yourselves. You're learning more about who you are as a team. You're playing great football. Your trajectory is amazing. You beat the number 1 team in the country. Now everybody's telling you how great you are. These are a lot of the same people that doubted you and said you're in trouble. The dynasty is over. Blah 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 blah. Nick Saban don't have it. It's time for him to retire. Moving up that $30 million house, and you heard it all. And now, just in a few months, they're telling you how great you are. Rat poison. So if South Carolina, what's up, Keith Holcomb? If South Carolina if Alabama comes back with their mind focused and ready to continue to work, they will win the national championship. They are the best team. They are. But the question I had was, will Alabama be Alabama when they get back? Will people listen to the rat poison? Will people go and went home and on vacation, got out of shape, didn't do anything? Where their mind at? They think they can just come back and turn the key and get back on. That would be my concern, and I can't wait to see and hear next week after they've been at practice this weekend, and we start to hear back from Nick Saban the week before they leave to go to California to the Rose Bowl. What is the mental aspect of this football team? Because the mental aspect plays a lot, right?
Yeah.
So will they stay hungry and thirsty? Will they stay with an attitude of we are the least? Will they stay with the attitude that we haven't arrived yet? We're not listening to all these people, because these are the same people that said you suck. These are the same people that say, man, who was this team? South Florida? Go back and read the clippings. Go back and read what these people said. Go back and watch. If I'm Nick Saban, I'm going back and I'm pulling up clips and I'm pulling up things. And I want to remind everybody that's in that locker room, every butt that's on the chair, and say to them, remember when these folk just said this about you, and now all of a sudden they're saying this, right? Let's keep the mindset, we are no good. Keep that mindset, because that's going to keep that thirst. It's going to keep that hunger pain. It's going to keep that desire to go win and to prove people wrong. Because reality is, if you go lose, then that was a fad. They'll go right back. That's the market in the world of sports, and especially football, that we live in. That's why I can't stand a lot of these people and what they say, because they're knee-jerk reactions, and they just moved and pulled by every win, everything. But from a coach to player, here we go. Let me play these clips. I'll play them throughout the locker room. I'll play David Pollack. I'll play Danny Cannell. I'll play ESPN. I'll play this. I'll play every negative thing that I could find. And I will make them have that thing burn in their spirit until they get it. You haven't arrived. Yeah, I know you just beat Georgia. I know they were number one. Listen, we got to go back to that old mentality that got us from 1-1 to 12-1. Because you can't go out there with a different mindset. You can't go out there and we're just going to roll up with the A and we got our gang. This is who we are. We are the standard. No. Go out there that we are the lowly of the low. We shouldn't be here, remember. We got politicians that's threatening to sue. we got people that, this is who we are. Nobody thinks we deserve to be here. If they think Florida State deserves to be, politicians are suing. We got attorney general. We got senators and telling us we're this, and there's Bama, favoritism, and there's SEC bias and blah. This is what I'm doing if I'm Coach Saban. And Coach Saban, I'm not even going to charge you if you watch this. If Ellis shows this to you, it's free because I love you. But this is what you should be telling your people. You dig? Because, listen, if you let them go out there comfortable, you get tripped up. But if you let them go out there like a bunch of wild packing dogs that's hungry, rib cage showing, got the mains, that's the attitude you have. And then that standard rises up. And then when it's all said and done, you hoist the Dr. Pepper trophy. Then you can tell them. Remember that, y'all? Now we're 14-1. Yep. But that has to be the attitude. But if a different attitude, that would worry me.
Well, you also got to take into consideration too, like we always coin this a new season, right? we always said, after the SEC championship game is done, that season's over. And once that season's over, it's time to hit the reset button, right? And we just start fresh. It's a clean slate because now it's a one week season or one game season, right? You got to win to keep going. If you don't win, it's over. And so you just got to put everything, every ounce of focus and energy into what's next, and that's this Michigan game. And so when they come back to practice Saturday, you got to hit the ground running, right? You got to go into it locked in on the mission. You can't. I love what you're saying because you're right. I mean, you're going to have to fight off some of that. I wouldn't say definitely not necessarily complacency, but fight off some of the guys might be feeling themselves a little bit, right? You said it, like they went from being doubted and disrespected, right? The first 3 weeks of the season. Now everybody's praising Alabama. Alabama this, Alabama that. Jalen Milroe, Lank this, Lank that. Everybody, even Alabama fans. I mean, I know you remember the amount of Alabama fans we had calling our show. Hey, Pastor Payne, Christian, I'm concerned. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to win this season. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about all these things, right? And now it's as if everybody's like, oh yeah, SEC championship, we beat Georgia, we're about to go. And it's like you said, I mean, even the own fan base was they were doubtful, right? And that's fine. We get it. But with that being said, you got to remember, man, like this is a new season, right? Everything we did, even that Georgia game, as great as it was, put it behind you, right? Because you got to hit the reset button. Now you got to go and play Michigan. Other thing I'll add that is, what will be their attitude and mentality going out there, right? Because it takes maturity to go on a bowl game all the way out to California, right? The glitz, the glamour, everybody's going to be pumping you up, right? You're on the West Coast. You got to have the right attitude. I've been on, look, I played in the playoffs all 5 years I was at Alabama, right? People don't understand this. If you have a team that's not disciplined and mature and they go into these bowl games unprepared, their focus is elsewhere, they don't have 100% buy-in. They got some guys, focused on the game. Other guys are out exploring the town, doing some extracurricular stuff. That matters, right? So what will be the mindset of this team when they go out to Pasadena, right? Do they have the right level of maturity? Or they're going to say, hey, I know we're here in Pasadena, we're in California, we're doing all this fun stuff for bowl week, right? There's all these interviews, all this great stuff. It's fun, enjoy it. But at the end of the day, this is still a business trip. Are we 100% bought in? Are we 100% locked in?
Yep.
I played in 4 straight national championship games. I can tell you the 2 that we lost, the level of buy-in and our focus, right, that week wasn't where it needed to be. And it showed.
Terrible.
Yeah. It wasn't where it needed to be. We were undisciplined, right? I'm not saying guys were roaming the streets all night. No, but you could just tell some guys started kind of checking out. Oh, I'm going to start entertaining
agents. They roaming the streets.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but guys was, now I can start entertaining agents. We just beat up on Oklahoma. Now we just go out to California, play Clemson. No, it don't work like that. If anything, you got to turn it up a notch, right? You got to have an even higher level of discipline and focus, right? And sometimes guys start letting up. Do I think that's going to happen? No. The leadership that I've seen from this team, the resiliency, the focus, the drive, the edge that they have, in my opinion, I think they're going to handle it the right way. But that is something to consider. And I'm glad you made that point because speaking on personal experience, it's true that plays a factor.
You said the right words, leadership. Who's that guy? The J.C. Latham? Is it Tyler Booker? Is it Dallas Turner, Chris Braswell on defense? Is it 13? Is it is it going to be Milroe, who normally needs to be the leader? So that got to be critical. So that's all about leadership. You said the right phrase, business trip. It ain't about, hey, the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. The Rose Bowl is the granddaddy of them all. That's good. You're going to do your sights and sounds. But, man, you go there to handle business. You got to be able to prioritize and understand what the task is. And that's to win the game, to give yourself a chance. One shot, Eminem. You only get one shot. Get to Houston. One shot. Whoever that's going to be, I think it's going to be Texas. One shot to get that trophy. I mean, listen, that's what matters. And so, I think this team has shown enough moxie and confidence based on because listen, they have been playing playoff football since week 2. They couldn't afford to lose again. And I said this on the show. I was like, yeah, you get the one loss, but what it does is put you in the elimination bracket. Right? You lose in one game early, you're in the elimination bracket. And now you're playing playoff football. You are playing for your life. Imagine the pressure of what was it, something in 31, second and 31, what'd you call that?
4th and 31.
4th and 31?
Yeah.
Imagine the pressure. I mean, you go think about that play. I mean, that ball hits the ground, your season, you get to a nice bowl game. You're probably in the Orange Bowl. So, listen, man. This is an opportunity of a lifetime. You had that. I personally never had that. And that's a great blessing. I mean, I played a lot of great football games in high-level D1 college football, but I never had that chance. So for these guys to get that opportunity as much as they get it at Alabama, I mean, dude, who knows if you ever get that again?
Well,
So,
with the 12-team playoff, I mean, I'm
well,
pretty
you think
confident
so,
that
but
you
I'm
will
just saying,
now.
but
But
still,
no, that's fair though. But in
you
this
got to have
instance,
attitude. I don't know when that can happen again, and let's go get this thing. This is the perfect storm for Alabama. This is the perfect storm. You're better than the other 3 teams. You just beat the best. In my opinion, Alabama just beat the best team that could beat them. That was Georgia. They just won. That, to me, that was the national championship game. That's why you had 80, 90, or whatever the viewership was. I know I'm not 80, 90, but 10 or whatever it was. Alabama just beat the best team. Georgia is a top 4 team. Committee was conflicted. Florida State, we're crying about Florida State and the politics, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Georgia is a top 4 team. So is Alabama. Now, figure out the other 2 however you want. But those 2, let's be real about it. And Alabama just beat, in my opinion, the best coming off back-to-back national championships that was playing great football. Well coached, a team that can match up with Nick Saban and coaches, match up with Nick Saban and talent, match up all around, championship minded. That's the Georgia Bulldogs, and Alabama just beat them. Not trying to get y'all to relax on this thing, but I'm just telling you, looking at the game. Now, you got to go play the game, but looking at the game and looking at talent to talent. Michigan gets a lot of great talent, right? Alabama's playing its best football right now. Alabama matches up all over the board. Why can't you go win this game? Michigan not no highly explosive offense. Those teams worry me more than a team like Michigan, right? Running quarterback. That kind of team makes me nervous playing Alabama because there's evidence that they struggle. Box game, hand on hand, man on man. That's what they do. And that's what they do best. So therefore, I feel pretty confident in this victory. And they got some explosive with Jalen Milroe on the other side. Makes me feel really good about this Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all.
With that being said, I think we missed a super chat. Let's get to that. We've got Genevieve's house back. Genevieve! Good to see you. Good to see you back in here, Genevieve, with the 1999 super chat. Preach, Pastor, Roll Tide. Good to see and hear you, gentlemen. Thank you so much, Genevieve, for the super chat. And it's good to be back on here. It's been a little minute. But I promise, I always say it, but we're going to get more consistent. Like he said earlier, we just had so much going on. It's been a long past few months, but we're doing the best we can. But we definitely are going to try to get back on here as much as we can, especially, we've got more time now. Football's slowing down a little bit. And we're going to try to get on here a lot more consistently. But thank you so much, Genevieve, for always supporting, always hanging out with us. You got the pastor over there flexing now. He's feeling good, so appreciate that.
Eating that salmon.
There you go. There you go. I
Your
see Keith
teammates
Holcomb in the
your
chat.
former teammates on here.
Yeah, I was about. Is this Keith Holcomb?
Keith
My
Holcomb
Keith
said, "I
Holcomb,
need to play bully
roommate
ball."
Keith Holcomb.
Your roommate.
Or it could be somebody the same name. You never know. I highly doubt it, but you never know.
Well,
Yeah, no,
there you go.
they do need to play bully ball. That's exactly what they need to do, right? Because I'm telling you, if you go back and watch the Auburn game, I know you mentioned schematics. Like, I'll be honest, Chattanooga did not really run any crazy running schemes. It was a lot of wide zone, and they were getting everybody moving lateral, and that running back was finding a hole and cutting. That's really what they were doing. I was calling the game. I was watching it. In my opinion, yes, he said no. It's not the same Keith Holcomb. It's got the same name.
We love you too, Keith Holcomb.
That's right. Well, Keith Holcomb that played linebacker at Alabama. That was my roommate. That's my guy. He's from Tuscaloosa. So just had to check and see that was him. But definitely shout out to this Keith Holcomb as well. But yeah, no, schematically, I don't even think it was that. It's just when you watch that Auburn game, I'm telling you, we just were not physical enough. They were the more physical team. If you watch the tape, just like we were the more physical team against Georgia, you see how that went, right? It's no different. So with that being said, I agree with Keith, man. You got to play bully ball, especially in this matchup. Because if you go out there and play the way you played defensively against Auburn, it's going to be a long day because Michigan likes to run the football. And if you let them have that, you're opening everything up for them. You go out there and stop the run, you're more dominant up front, you start limiting them. Again, their quarterback, solid quarterback, but he's not, in my opinion, he's not, a game changer.
He can throw it, but he don't scare you. Let's kind of go through some of these quick. I mean, I'm at about an hour or something.
Is that you putting up the comments?
Yeah, I was putting them up there. I was just figuring out how to just show them how to do these things.
All right. Let's see what we got.
I just want to do. I took some medicine. Those that didn't know, since we've been on last, I had a stroke and about 2.5 weeks ago. So I'm on a lot of meds, and I just took my little night meds, so it might make me a little sleep in a minute. So I'm feeling good. God is good. So that's why I'm energetic just to be on here and sharing with you boys and girls. But so I want to go through some of these just for medicine, kind of getting a little bit, I can tell.
All right. We got Bama Standard in here. What's going on, guys? They said it's like Alabama defensive lineman Tim Keenan told us on our show, we didn't come this far to come this far. Sounds like something Pastor Payne would say. I mean, you got to take advantage of those opportunities, man. And you get to this point, and that's what, man, don't even get me started, but that actually frustrated me is like, as a team, when I could kind of sense us kind of that focus was slipping a little bit when we would be in the postseason. I'm one of those people where it's like, I value stuff, right? And I understand the value of time and the value of opportunities. You know what I mean? There's some opportunities that only come around so often, right? And my approach is put everything into that opportunity and put everything else on hold, right? Because why wouldn't you? Like that girlfriend's going to be there in a couple of weeks. The agents are definitely going to be around. They're always going to be around. Money's going to be around. You can always go back to Bourbon Street, but you can't go back and play these games, right? You can't get that back. And so I always had that mentality, and it's tough when not everybody has that same level of buy-in. But this group, in my opinion, I feel like they have the right mentality. They have the right mindset. I think they have some good leadership. They did the ceremony, the postseason ceremony. I think the captains was Malachi Moore, Dallas Turner, and Jalen Milroe, I believe. I think those are 3 captains. I know all 3 of those guys personally, and they're all really good guys. I think they'll have the rest of the team locked in and ready to roll. But then you got guys even like Tim Keenan who are stepping up and being good leaders. So it's important. It's vital to have that type of leadership when you get these opportunities.
Tim Keenan, a Birmingham native, I believe, defensive tackle, has stepped in and done a lot of good things. Appreciate Bama Standard putting that out there. I did get a chance to watch a little bit of that, watch him talk a little bit. I love his mindset. Again, he kind of possessed that mindset I talked about, that staying hungry and thirsty, that mindset of, we have something to prove and we're this and we're that based on what people have said. Listen, you didn't come that far just to get that far, right? You got to make it a business trip, as Christian said earlier, and go handle your business. It's business, and because the reality is, if you go out there and enjoy the sights and sounds and come back empty, it ain't worth it.
You forget all about the sights and sounds.
You forget all about that crap. So it's
you don't forget those losses.
Disappointing. So go handle your business and get a chance to get the next week, and then, man, let it all go. You have nothing to lose. So that's what I'm saying. Handle this business, and then just a fourth quarter, however long it takes to get that Dr. Pepper trophy.
I think Sam said Bama's given up 20-plus points in every game since A&M, excluding Chattanooga. Defense will be the key to a championship from this point forward. I didn't even realize that. Let's see. Let's check that, Sam. Again, the chat always knows. Chat knows.
Yeah, they do more stat work than we do.
Yeah. So Sam, let's check it. Let's check it. So since A&M, you said that Alabama has given up
20 points, excluding Chattanooga.
Yeah, so I'll pull that up. But I mean, you're right. I mean, defense wins championships. That's what they say, and I'm a firm believer in that. So
Well,
that being
said, 100.
100%.
You got to be able to stop people.
All right, let's check it, Sam. You said since A&M, they gave up 20 against A&M, 21 to Arkansas, 20 to Tennessee, 28 LSU, 21 to Kentucky, 10 to Chattanooga, 24 Auburn, 24 Georgia. So you're right, Sam. And there is an argument that college football is a little bit different nowadays, right? Because, if you think back, think of 09, was it, what defense was it? Was it 2010 defense? The year that they didn't win, but they literally were only giving up like a yard or two per carry or something crazy. You got to think about it. College football is a little bit different. People do score more points in today's game. However, you're right. They have given up some more points. So if they can do a good job defensively, that's going to give them a chance. But that's why I think this game, honestly, this Rose Bowl match, it's a battle of two really good defenses. And again, this Michigan's offense, they just don't really they're good, they're efficient, but they're not.
Yeah,
they're not electrical,
Alabama's 17th in the country, 18 points a game. Michigan's at number 1 with 14. So it's not really that big of a difference.
Wait, you said points
Alabama
per game or points per game allowed?
Points per game allowed is 18 for Alabama, 14 for Michigan.
I thought theirs was under.
No, 10. I'm sorry, 9 for Michigan. Excuse me, 9 for Michigan,
9.5 or
and
something.
18 for Alabama. So double the score there. But I mean, throw all that out the window at this point. But I do get what you. No. I'm just saying you can throw all that out the window. This is a new season, new day. I mean, that's good, but this is.
I was about to say that you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, holding people to under 10 points.
But those 20, 20 points in college football. Really is not that bad. 18 points a game.
In today's college football, that's what I was saying.
You said Alabama played 5 on top. I mean, you playing a team that score 40, 50 points, and you hold them to 20s, you're winning. I mean, that's a big deal.
I agree. David says, name one team that doesn't struggle with the mobile quarterback. Bama is not the only team that struggles with them. No, they're not. And that's why we said we think this great Michigan defense, again, we just read off the stats, number 1 in points per game allowed, top 10 in almost every category. I don't think, in my opinion, and he agrees, they've played a quarterback like Jalen Milroe, a guy that's a big play waiting to happen, can use his legs, right, has a deep shot available. I think he's going to pose a lot of problems for them. I think it's going to be something different. I mean, I'll give you an example. When we played Georgia, they were preparing for Tua. We put Jalen Hurts in the game when Tua went down, and they even said we didn't prepare for Jalen Hurts, and it threw off their whole game plan, right? Playing quarterbacks that are dynamic like that and have another layer to them, so to speak, and have elite athleticism, it's not easy. And it's coming from 2 edge guys. Our sole responsibilities for rushing the passer, defending the quarterback, and run game, all that stuff. Like when you play a dual threat quarterback, it poses a whole another layer of issues for a defense. So I think it's going to pose a serious challenge for that Michigan defense. By no means am I saying, we're just going to walk all over them because they haven't seen that. I just think it's going to open up some opportunities because it is quite different. That being said, their defense is a very solid defense. You got to respect them. But overall, we talked about it. We just think Michigan and Alabama, we match up well with them, right? I'd be more concerned playing a team. I'd honestly be more concerned, for lack of a better word, playing Washington than I would Michigan. And I'm not overlooking them. I'm just saying, just by the type of team that they are, I feel better in this matchup. That's just my opinion.
I agree.
I'm telling you that because you've seen how. Look, and I love our secondary, but Alabama, we know how it is. Sometimes we play those quarterbacks that can really throw on a line. Those guys kind of have big games. It doesn't matter. Like, think about it. We played Deshaun Watson in 2015. We won that national championship. Y'all not remember how many passing yards them dudes had? Him and Hunter Renfrow? And you not remember who was in our secondary? Come on, man. I mean, our whole secondary from 2015 is still playing. Pro Bowl type players. For whatever reason, sometimes a dual threat quarterback and a quarterback that really has a true arm talent.
But Deshaun Watson really wasn't a dual threat.
No. I said he had
the ability to escape and extend, but he was not.
I didn't call him a dual threat. I said quarterbacks that are dual threat and or have an elite arm.
Gotcha.
Those are the two. It seems like kryptonites for an Alabama defense. Yeah, no. Deshaun Watson, no, he could throw a football is what he could do. He's tough too.
Should have had some more massage therapy.
Okay, see, come on, man. Oh Lord!
We're bad with those. Not that bad like that.
No,
I love massage therapy. It's good stuff.
6-0 says, Pastor and Christian, what do you think or have any comments about Texas quarterback situation as a backup quarterback went to the portal? Look, that's part of the issue with the timing of these things. And he came out and said, like, it's nothing against Texas. He didn't necessarily want to do it, but to put himself in the best position, he had to do that. So they got to clean something up. They got to clean the timing of these things up. You were talking about Georgia losing so many guys in the portal. That's really because they're just playing in a bowl game and not playing for a championship. I hate to say this, but if Alabama wasn't playing for a championship, there probably would be a handful more guys in the portal right now. Wouldn't be shocked if we slowly start seeing some more guys enter. It is what it is, part of it. But that's kind of – those are my thoughts. I just think that 6-0, it comes with it. The timing of the portal, guys got to make those decisions. I mean, and at this point, we've been talking about this on our show, the Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9. You almost are going to have to, between the transfer portal, NIL, borderline, these guys are almost going to have to become employees at this point, right? It really does feel like free agency. You got starting quarterbacks. Look at Oklahoma's quarterback. Great university, successful. He's the starter. He's the guy. He's transferring to, is it Oregon?
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel of Oklahoma.
Yeah, come on, man. That's straight free agency. You look at Alabama bringing guys in on visits. I was talking about this. They're bringing an edge from Texas A&M. We just signed 3 5-star edge guys last year. Got a couple other guys, but since they don't have experience just yet, we're just like, all right, we're going to go. Take a guys.
And that's the thing that hurts high school players. The whole development of young kids.
There's no more development.
You're the greatest example of that. Don't have to wait yet. Need to get bigger, get stronger. They can wait 2 years, 3 years for you to play while you wait on other guys. That's not happening anymore. Now it's like, hey, we're losing 2 edge guys, Chris Bradwell. We're losing, Dallas Turner. We got to go find some guys that's plug and play. Now, hopefully the younger guys will stay, don't get frustrated, don't leave. But we got to go find guys that can play now because we are a team that is winning now. We're not building. We're a team that's winning right now. So you got to go find that guy, right? So that's what the transfer portal is doing. 6-0 to college football is hurting recruiting from the high school side of things. And these guys are going to find places, NIL, collective money, opportunity. That's what it is. So it's the new way of college football. You might as well get used to it. It's not going to change. It stinks. I talked about this. You didn't see my piece on X, Pastor Payne 57 follow. I talked about, we'll put these on this thread too now, and we know what we're doing, but how guys don't care anymore. Like the player-fan relationship is being really attacked. And you're seeing that now more than any. Guys are leaving. They don't care about the university. They don't care about fight song. They don't care about the walks. They seem like they do at the time, but as soon as that opportunity or door opens, they're out. So that's your question about Murphy, quarterback from Texas. He got to do what he had to do. And you can't be mad at the player, right? You got to be mad at the game. You can't be mad at the player. You got to be mad at the game. And so, listen, he probably knows where he's going, and the timing of the school, getting into classes to all this stuff becomes an issue. So, like you said, it's not Texas. He probably would have loved to be there. He knows that you sitting there, you got Manning that's right there ready to play. You done gave him God knows how much money in collective money, NIL. Quinn Ewers says he's coming back, so he has to be number 2. So what are you going to do with Murphy? Guy is extremely talented. So somebody's going to be out. It's going to happen at Alabama. I think that guy's going to be Ty Simpson, because you got Julius Sanders coming in this weekend. He's going to be working out with the team. He's going to go on the bowl trip. Yeah, everybody excited about him. I ain't going to say most, but a lot of you were saying that he's going to take Jalen Milroe's place. He need to move on and transfer. A lot of you were saying that. Let's just be real. I'll call you out, and I keep them receipts. A lot of you were saying that. Julius saying, 5-star from California. Oh, yeah, Baywatch. So it was like y'all were on point, right? And now what happened? Boom, boom, boom. Here's Milroe. Here comes Julius saying, somebody got to go. You got Dylan Lonergan there. You got Eli Holston there. You got guys that Ty Simpson. Now what? Guess what? After this run is over, national championship run is over, Ty Simpson going to be in the portal. And Ty Simpson probably go somewhere where he probably can find a place to start. And it might be a lower level SEC team, because the bigger level guys going to already have somebody. So if he transfer, which I think it could be a spring transfer, maybe not, but if he wait and see what happens, some more doors may open up. But, I think he can go somewhere and play. He's very talented and definitely good enough. But right now, if he's not willing to wait and be 2 again, and if he does stay, then maybe Dylan Lonergan will say, you know what, Ty Simpson going to have 2 more years. How am I going to get in? They got Julius saying, how am I going to get in? Then Dylan Lonergan, who they like a lot, may be out the door. So that's where it goes. I mean, you can't have 5 quarterbacks that can play. It ain't going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You better hope you can at least hold on to 2 good ones. And the rest of them could be just guy hanger-oners. So, I mean, and if something happens with injury, guess what? You go into the portal, and then you find a seasoned veteran to come play for you the next year, because you ain't got to wait no more on a quarterback. There's a problem. It's hard to see these quarterbacks grow up in a system unless they just come out of high school just that good. Think about it. How are they going to be a redshirt, a freshman? They going to wait 3 years? Who's that patient anymore?
Well, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you said it best when you said the transfer portal, it kills development. And that's what I just was talking about. I'm like, I get going and getting a guy the experience, but I'm like, damn, like, what's the point of signing three guys in a class at the edge position? You're telling me I get guys I took a little bit longer to develop. Like, guys are at different paces, but you got 3, and none of them you feel y'all developed to a point where we can rely on this guy. I don't. It's just interesting, man. And you're right. It throws everything off, and that's why it really feels like free agency, because now, I mean, it's just like, all right, we need to fill a need here. Let's hit the portal and grab this guy. He comes in, he plays over the guys that you recruited. Those guys want to leave. Then when they leave, you don't have any depth behind the new guy that you just brought in.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole mess, man. It's a whole mess.
Thing, bro. We're about hour 15. It's getting late.
We'll do one last. We'll do one last thing and let you get off. y'all ask some questions. There's a bunch in here, but y'all ask. I'll pick one, then we'll get off here. But in the meantime, Sam said you fellas were with Milroe from day one. That's just because we were fortunate to kind of see how things were developing. We kept trying to tell you guys, man, just trust the process, right? Like let it play out. Things will be fine. We know how football teams work. They take time to mesh. They take time to gel. Nothing happens overnight, especially when you got a bunch of new pieces. But everybody, the fans, y'all complain about the players wanting, instant gratification, all that stuff. The fans are the same way. Y'all want it to be like this, right? It's not how it works with a football team. It takes time. And fortunately, we kind of just knew to be patient, play the patient game, and that's ultimately what happened.
Oh, Hacker Music said, I love this. It would be a nightmare for a coach managing the roster right now. Yes, sir. That's a good one. And then he said he would have sued in 1966 if he had known that again. Talking about the politicians suing for Alabama getting in ahead of Florida State. So, oh, God. What a joke. What a joke that is. I mean, we got a lot of comments on here. And again,
yeah, I was about to say,
a ton of people normally go back and watch and listen. I like a lot of the good stuff. I'm glad that I know what's happening now, so how to use this quite more effectively. So,
like you said, if you guys are if you're tuning in right now, definitely leave a like. If you're watching the replay, please leave a like. That always helps out. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe for more. Follow us on all social media platforms at The Miller's Edge, and you can always listen to us Monday through Friday on Tide 100.9 FM or the website Tide 100.9 or the app. It's from 11 to 12. Might be getting a change in time soon, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, Bama Standard says this is a good one. Could Bear Bryant handle the transfer portal / NIL generation? That's a good one. I said this on the show, Bama Standard. The best coaches, Nick Saban, I think most of us would say classify old school, right? Bear Bryant-ish. I would say yes, because college football has changed. And if you didn't, a la vis-a-vis Dabo Swinney the last couple of years, your program will suffer. If you don't change, your program is going to take a hit because the game will pass you by. I don't have to like something. I don't have to agree with something. But if I know the system and the platform and the thing that I am doing is changing, and for me to grow and continue to keep a standard that I'm familiar with, then I have to be willing to adapt. I don't think Nick Saban likes to be so nice to players. I don't think Nick Saban likes not to cuss so much. I mean, we joke with Christian a lot back against Louisville and Orlando years ago. That's who he is. A.J. McCarron coming off the field, butt slapped him so hard almost into the second row of the stands. That's who he is. But guess what? You can't do those things anymore. When I played high school football at the great Page in Central High School, Page in South Carolina, the watermelon capital of the world, coaches kick players in the butt. They take a step, miss a block, they tell them to get back in their stance again, and coach gets behind them and kick them right square off in the booty. Accept it. That's what you did. But could you do that now? I don't think you would catch as a charge. And you'll be fired. So my point is, Bear Bryant, as old school and tough as he was, he would not have a choice. He would either accept it or he would be bad and fired. I mean, that being said, you don't have a choice. They don't like it. Nick Saban don't like it. Dabo Swinney said, no, I got my own way. I'm going to build my own players up. I'm going to develop. Then Florida State goes get 15 transfer portal guys out of the 22 starters and go undefeated and win the ACC. Dabo's left behind, loses 4 games, loses your quarterback. I mean, so I will say this, a lot of things in life we don't like. You know, I'm old school as they come, and I'll tell you about it. But at the same time, I understand that you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to change. You have to be able to say, okay, I still want to keep my foundation and my principles, but I keep my old school values. I don't have to get on Twitter and answer every question to media and people and like Shane Beamer's doing. I don't have to do all that. I know we got to have somebody that might have to do it. I'm not going to do it. But if I want my program to grow and change with college football, Bear Bryant would have had to do it. As great as a coach he was, if we'd have had that change, heck, he would have had to change. I mean, or else he'd have been out of college football coaching pro, which a lot of coaches have chosen to do. So, you know, I think that was a good one to talk about. But I said on my thing, if you go watch it, I said old school. You remember I said it's Christian. I said old school is better. It is better in every way. It's better. I love getting. Let me rephrase. I hated to get beat by the switch. And my mama used to make me go out when we get in trouble. We go outside to the tree and you tear that switch out and you bring it to your mama. In my case, my mama did all the discipline. And you bet not. We wasn't no better not. I wasn't as proper. You bet not come in there with no little switch. Because then she go get the switch. It's going to be bigger than what you probably should have got.
I thought the little ones were worse though. Didn't the little
No,
ones? I thought the
we
little ones
had the
hurt
ones
worse.
that had the stems off of them things. I mean, you don't know nothing about whelps. Boy, we went to school with whelps. I mean, all over my back. You raise up your shirt. You go take a pee or a dump, man. They whelps all on your thighs. Everywhere them things cut you. Boy, they cut you.
That sounds like abuse, man.
And then they would talk to you while you getting beat. Did not tell you not to go down here. Did not tell you not to be talking in the church. Pop, 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 pop. Brother, it was not fun. It wasn't fun when I used to watch my sister talk back to my mama, and then mama had an arm like Tom Brady. And back then they had the thick sole church shoes. And she could take that church shoe, wanted to walk down that little skinny hallway. And so, or the electric cord, the extension cord. I see sisters get beat with extension cords. Today classified as child abuse. But I still say old school is better because all 11 of 10 of my brothers and sisters, our kids turned out pretty daggone good. Now they changed as time changed. Switches went away, electric cords and thick sole church shoes. They went away as time changed. But the foundation was laid of discipline. Old school is better. And so even though we have new principles, look at the kids now. They went to timeout. Now look at what kids are doing today. My God. They have no foundation and no principles. So Bear Bryant would have been taking pictures with recruits, hugging babies, kissing babies, and doing whatever he had to do to get the 5-star in. So
I
those
don't
are
know.
my thoughts, man.
Not from the stories I heard. I heard he won.
Huh?
He definitely would have adapted, but I don't know if he would have been kissing no kid. I don't know. I heard
He wouldn't went that far. Nick Saban. I
Coach
don't know. I
Coach
used to have
Saban
to hold the baby, smile.
Coach Saban be doing the electric slide and the Cupid
Yeah,
shuffle.
you see Coach Saban,
be
but it
showing out.
it looks like his electric slide being slow motion.
He'd be smooth with it though. He'd be all cool with
He
it.
got that same little blue blaze on. But
yeah, he'd be doing
it.
What is a couple more real quick? Sam says, Chris, is it true that Bama blitzed Georgia only a handful of times in the national championship game? Or no, excuse me, the championship game, SEC championship game. I don't think that's true. I'll be honest. I saw them playing aggressive. Now, was it which you guys might be when you got to understand. I mean, there's different types of blitzes, right? I mean, it might. Let's just say they were aggressive, right? They'd have a guy shooting the gap. They might have a safety coming down. They were aggressive. It just you might not necessarily tell, but I'm telling you, if you go watch a Georgia game, then go back and watch Auburn game, two completely different defenses. Like guys are flying around, shooting gaps, flying over the top, right? I'm talking about against Georgia. So yeah, I think it was definitely more than you might have realized. You just might not have realized it just because guys were just playing so aggressive for the most part. So
Well,
yeah,
you got to also understand too, Chris. Blitz is 6 or more rushers, right? But you can also run dogs, which is a 5-man rush by sending a backer. You can send 2.
That's what I was referring to.
Zone dogs, drop out the end. All that's considered zone dogs, so it don't necessarily consider itself a blitz. It could be a zone dog that you run a dog even against the run and play zone behind it. Blitz is 6 or more in the rush. And so so it could be true if you're using the true term phrase blitz. That's probably a limited amount of time that they did that. But they did do some dogs, bringing the safety down, bringing the corner off the edge. You know, they call that cat blitz, things like that. So you'll see them do different things, but not necessarily called all-out blitz.
Like, that's what I was explaining.
Yeah.
They shoot a backer, shoot a safety, So thank you for cleaning that up for me. Yeah, a lot of people, I guess, they relating to you on Grandma Ethel's way of discipline.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Sam said he had to go pick my own belt, switch shoe. Yeah, a lot of people are saying, they experienced that too. But
we should. I think I'm gonna do a hoodie. Old school is better, and with a roll tide on the back. Hashtag Miller's Edge.
Old school is better. I like that. We can coin that. Might need to trademark that. Old school is better.
Yeah.
You just gotta make sure some people don't get that twisted now.
What do you mean?
We got to set a limit on old school. We can't go back too far, too old school now.
Well, we don't went back to switches. We don't went back to drop chords and church
I'm talking about a little bit further back. Kind of like switches, but they weren't switches.
Oh no, we're not doing that.
You got to make sure people don't.
No. Old school when it comes to sport.
There we go. I'm just saying, man. People take stuff and run with it, man.
Right. They know our show. This is a show of love. Love Jesus.
Just had to, I'm telling you, man. People take stuff around. All right, last one. Judge said, I believe in this team and Milroe since the first game. Stay focused on the prize, one game at a time mentality. Link. That's right. That's what they did. One game at a time. That's what got them here. They got to do it again because they got to focus on this game before they. There you go. Throwing up the L for Link. Before they set their eyes on Houston. With that being said, we're gonna let the pastor get a little bit of rest because he probably getting a little tired. I'm going on an hour and a half.
Yeah, so I'm a pat, man. I just took, now I used to laugh at my wife and, because I never took pills. I got my every day, so I make sure I know what I take. And I got these and got other ones too in the back. But praise the Lord, anyhow.
Sam, real quick, just because it's the last thing popped up. Sam said, I know you guys had hats for sale. How about hoodies too? We had a bunch of apparel.
I'm going to get some hoodies. I got those coming. I'm going to get them.
Real quick, before we get off here, if we made some hoodies, would you guys be interested? Speaking of hats,
that was one year at least.
We got hats. If you guys are interested, let me know. Get you set up with some hats. We definitely got hats. But if you guys wanted some hoodies, let us know. Yeah, we got that color too. Let us know if you want some hoodies, some Miller's Edge hoodies. Let us know. Then we'll do a poll. I'll come up with some designs and we'll vote on it. Then we'll get those out. But definitely,
I was meeting with a guy tonight. That one of the things I'm doing actually for a collective here at the University of South Carolina but I'm doing it for my ministry. It's the hoodies with the pastor at Payne Giants for Christ sings. Excuse me. Like one of the things was that. Old school is better. Well, we did a sermon that Jesus is better, so he most likely, but most definitely. But we're going to do things like that. Saw a girl today leaving the doctor's office. She had the Seek Jesus sweatshirt on. and it opened up conversation. It was awesome. It just said "Seek Jesus," and being a minister wanted me to ask questions and had a nice little 5-minute conversation out the door. So she kind of helped make my day leaving the doctor's office too. So it's just good things. I mean, we like to sell our brand, but I want to do more to encourage people. Through some of the things God has given me, sayings to just things of encouragement. It's amazing because people read it. You know what I mean? So I want to do some Bama stuff. I want to do some Edge stuff, do some Giants Christ stuff, some cool stuff. I got people that's ready to make things for me. So,
well, tell them get those hoodies ready, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the ones
it's
too.
time for it. The weather's
a new
ready.
lifestyle change of eating, and I don't call it diet. I call it way of life. Now I'm doing a Mediterranean way of eating. It's been 3 weeks, going on 3 weeks now. So that's been good. And it's just a whole change of everything. So that's why I'm a believer with the mindset and getting your mind right. And Scotty Cocker used to say it all. I love it. Got to get your mind right? Got to get your mind right. That's why Bama has to get their mind right. If they're going to win the ship, the mind has to be right. So
that's right.
In life, to reach your goal, your mind have to be right. To accomplish what God has for you, your mind has to be right, because it's the devil's playground. And if he can attack the mind, he attacks the whole soul, the body, the spirit, every whole thing. So we got to keep our mind right and strong and powerful and confident. And when we got that, we have success. So that's kind of the whole mindset with the Edge, is that, we're powered, built on the foundation of Christ. We got great viewership. Don't even really try it hard, but we got great people, and it's fun. It's all good because our mind right.
That's right. With that being said, get y'all's minds right and drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. That helps us out. And make sure you stay tuned, because, again, we're getting back on schedule. Again, check us out Monday through Friday on the Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9. You can download the app on your phone, Apple, Android, whatever you want. They got it. It's free. Listen to us live every day, Monday through Friday, or you can go to the website and click the link there to listen. Or you can go to our website, www.themillersedge.com, and listen through our website as well. We've got a link over there. But just appreciate everybody.
We had a website.
Huh?
I didn't even know we had a website.
We've been had a site, man. But definitely appreciate everybody tuning in, especially 6-0 for the Super Chat, Genevieve's House for the Super Chat. Thank you guys always for supporting us, for making all this possible. Then obviously everybody in the chat hanging out with us. We appreciate everybody, man. Always a good time hanging out with you guys. But again, we're going to get back on this. There's no post-game show Saturday. I know you guys know me excited for that. Maybe we'll hop on.
We're going to try to get on here. It might be sometime not live, but just to leave more just video stuff we do. Sometimes like the schedule reveal or certain things happen, during practice, some news we hear, something that's worthy of talking about, we'll jump on. May not definitely be nowhere near as long, but try to stay more connected with you. So that's one of the things that, we got this computer, you got a phone, you can always jump on and just get information and chat with people. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that. And then, again, I got a meeting next week about some other stuff to enhance this whole product. And they're ready to rock and roll with it. But I'll let you know more about that, because that's going to be pretty daggone big, plus some other stuff. So,
no doubt.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. And appreciate you guys hanging out with us on the Miller's Edge. We'll see you guys next time. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.